Hey, we're back. This time with non-Sky related content. I know. Dislike, unsubscribe, how dare you betray Ray. Ha! My excuse is that this is technically not Master Duel, it is Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. So, I'm sure if you've heard already, Tearlaments is coming. Probably next month, I think, after DC Cup. There will probably be a ban list that might do some things to make this deck not tier 0. Haha, get it? But Tearlaments in himself, it's gonna be rough times, gang. Rough times. Until the next broken deck comes along, and then we'll complain about that. But for now, we're gonna complain about Tearlaments. But more importantly, I guess it's appropriate for me to show you guys a little bit about Tearlaments and why it's so broken, or why people hate it, it's so good, blah blah blah, right? Don't expect this to be, I guess, a very super duper in-depth amazing editing kind of deal. It'll be like kind of like a quick, hopefully quick preview about what you should expect for Tearlaments, why it's so good, and essentially what the cards do, like on a most basic fundamental level. I'll go over the monsters, the spells, the traps, some tech options you probably heard of, like Ishizu cards, and very simple combo lines, but not really, because the deck depends on what you mill, so you know that's kind of like the appeal of it. The only reason why I've even playing Tearlaments when that eventually comes, because unlike a lot of the other meta decks, there's a lot of variance, and like things can go either way, right, depending on what you mill and all that stuff. So it's fun to, like, you know, it's kind of like Light Swarm back in the day, if you know what that is. But anyways, of course, before we start, please leave a like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. Please look forward to Tearlaments content, or if you don't like Tearlaments content, let me know. Let me know down below. Say you hate Tearlaments, you're a fraud, Kevin, and then I can't believe you're cheating on Ray. But we'll still play Stracker, of course. Stracker best deck until Tearlaments comes, maybe. But even then, we might have a chance. Probably not, but you know, I like to be optimistic. Anyways, what is Tearlaments? What's the deal with Tearlaments? Tearlaments is a fusion-based, graveyard-centric milling deck that essentially can recur itself as material and also act as starter cards. So already that's amazing that you don't have to use polymerization to fusion Shokan into I guess these Tearlaments, but also, you know, any other purple card that fits the requirements. For example, Dragosapedia you've probably seen, which is a free negate, or you can fusion summon into I've seen some people play Garuda, right, from for some like free draws and like synchro plays, which we'll talk about later. Excuse me. And then also you can play Abyss Dweller, because this deck can easily make rank 4s, and then you'll have a great time when you play the mirror and manage to set up Abyss Dweller with a Sprite Elf protecting it. So that's fun. Prepare for that, gang. So essentially Tearlaments can recur itself, also can act as starter cards. So we'll go over the monsters real quick. We'll go in level order because that's kind of relevant. You'll find out later. So all the first 3 Tearlaments, like the fish waifus, they have a effect where when they're basically summoned, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Essentially mill 3 cards, right? And also, if any of them are sent to the graveyard as a card effect, or by card effect, technically words, right? By card effect, you can fusion Shokan by placing materials on it from your hand, field, or graveyard into the bottom of your deck, so you can recur. All right. So these 3 have those effects: mill, and then also if they're milled, they can fusion Shokan, right? So these are what these 3 do. First one is Merrli. Merrli is a level 2. Attack and defense don't really matter. Basically, this is if this card is normal or special summon, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So it's your most traditional starter card that's gonna probably guarantee a mill if you summon it just like straight up. It doesn't need anything else to happen. You can just normal summon it, and then there you go. You mill 3 cards, and hopefully you mill some good stuff. But that's Merrli. Keep in mind, again, it's a level 2, so that means you can do Sprite Elf shenanigans, and that's very fun. I guess I'll spoil hot takes, but I firmly see Sprite Elf maybe getting banned or something like that, because Abyss Dweller and all that fusion Shokan on your opponent's turn is not very fun. Next we'll go on to Havnis. Havnis is basically what allows you to play on your opponent's turn if they literally do anything. or more specifically, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So there you go. If you add in Shaddoll cards or something like that, if you manage to get lucky and hit like a Shaddoll card, hey, you can go into Shaddoll window on your opponent's turn. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that fun? Or you could also, I guess, go into one of the big boss Tearlaments, either, you know, Kitkallos or Reinoheart, but Reinoheart is a little bit more difficult to special summon, right? So yeah, that's Havnis. Havnis allows you to play on your opponent's turn if they literally do anything. Next is Scheiren. Scheiren is... Ooh, people are being loud. Scheiren is... during your main phase, you can special summon this card, and if you do, you have to send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard. And then you get to mill the 3 effect, right? So, I guess you kind of get played into Maxi, right? Obviously, my experience with Tearlaments is from TCGland, where Maxi doesn't exist, but if you do this, obviously you'll probably proc Maxi from your opponent's... But, hey, remember, any one of these things, well, technically these 2 later, but we'll talk about them a little bit later. But any of these 3 get sent to graveyard by card effect. Technically, the discard is a card effect, so you get to mill, or you get to mill and special summon a fusion monster. So these 3 are pretty much 3-ofs. No matter what, you mill them, you draw them, summon them, pop off king. Next is Reinoheart. Reinoheart's, I guess, the anime MC. You know, you guys have Ram of Fish Girls. Visa Starfrost is there, but you don't really play Visa Starfrost in Tearlaments. But anyways, this is a warrior, so that means you could play Rhoda, I guess, to search it. Also, like Merrli, it's kind of like your traditional starter card, right? Because if this thing is special summon or normal summon, you can send 1 Tearlaments card, or 1 Tearlaments monster, excuse me, 1 Tearlaments monster from your deck to the graveyard, except itself, right? And then if you send any Tearlaments monster, that's a card effect, right? Sent to graveyard by card effect, Fusion Shokan, pop off king. Also, it has secondary effect. Instead of acting as, I guess, fusion material or acting as a polymerization when it's milled, instead, if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon this card, banish it when it leaves the field, and if you do, send 1 Tearlaments card from your hand to the graveyard. So if this gets milled, you can send a Tearlaments card to graveyard. Remember, card effect, technically Fusion Shokan anyways. So Reinoheart, I've seen some people play 2 of it, some people play 3 of it. Up to you technically, because the Merrli is probably a better overall normal summon, right? Just your average normal summon, because it can guarantee 3 cards at the top of your deck to the graveyard. Maybe you get lucky, you hit like a Shizu card or another Tearlaments, right? You pop off. This one, let's say you get negated, you know, sucks for you, dude. So personally, I play 3 of this, but there is argument for you playing 2 to 3. I'm sure, you know, you can argue that, but these 4, I'm pretty sure are going to be released next month. Tearlaments Kashtira, I'll be honest and say, I think by the time this came out, you maybe had like a week or something before all the Tearlaments got banned. So all I know about this one is that it's more or less used in Kashtira. I know some Tearlaments players can play this within Trap. That's kind of like Infinity Barrier, which we'll talk about soon. But essentially, during the main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, banish 1 cash or Tearlaments card from your hand or graveyard. If this card is normal special summon, you can send the top 3 cards of either player's deck to the graveyard. So it's kind of like a Merrli, right? You gotta banish something from either hand or graveyard, right? Yeah, it's technically a starter card, but like, do you need to play this? I don't think so, right? I think you're gonna be fine so long as like the Shizu cards don't get banned. And also, I don't know if this card is even gonna get released by the time these 4 come, right? Because this is a pretty recent release, if I remember correctly. So those are your main deck monsters, your traditional normal summon to mill stuff. This one, basically, if your opponent literally does anything, well, technically the monster effect has to be on field, but you know, they're gonna do something. You can show a window or pop off, right? And this one is your special summon / extender if for some reason this gets negated somehow or whatever, right? So there you go. And then Reinoheart is your other traditional starter card, but you know, you can argue which one's better, but I would say Merrli slightly better, because if it gets milled, it acts as a polymerization and like, you know, fusion shogun. So these 4 probably play 3 of each, so that's 12 cards already in your deck. And then next we'll go into the extra deck monsters. There's only 3 right now, but the more relevant one is Kitkallos, which again, hot take. I can see this easily getting banned on release because I believe it's banned now, or about to get. I think it's about to get banned, right? TCGland absolutely banned this, and then nobody played Tearlaments anymore. OCGland, I forgot the last time I checked, but I believe it's unbanned. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think a lot of Tearlaments are like a 2 or 1, so please again let me know if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's banned in both. Like I can check right now because I'm very smart. Let's check. Tearlaments Kitkallos. Feels bad Wikipedia got banned, huh? I know. I gotta use that other website. So yes, it is both banned in both formats. So, you know, is it gonna get banned on release? Could be, could be. I don't think so. I don't think they've ever done that, but hey, there's no precedence for them not doing that, right? But anyways, this card is literally broken. This is probably the reason why people either love or hate Tearlaments, because it's how good this card can do. And B, it is a level 5, so that means you can instant fusion and pop off. It is a starter card, it is an extender, it sets up everything for your deck, essentially. Basically what it does is that if this card is special summon, you can take 1 Tearlaments card from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. There you go. You could add the trap, which we'll talk about later, to set up disruption, or if you want to extend, for example, you're going second, you want to break some boards, there you go. You can target 1 monster you control, special summon 1 Tearlaments monster from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, send the targeted monster to the graveyard. Have you noticed it said you can target 1 monster you control? It doesn't say anything about itself, so hey, you can technically send your own Kitkallos to graveyard, and then you'll see it'll proc this effect, which is if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, that's the card effect, right? You can send the top 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard. 5, that's insane, gang. 5 cards. So you could send this out, send 5 cards, and guess how many cards you've basically sent to your graveyard already, if you're playing a 40 card deck, right? So let's do some quick maths. Let's say you start off with any let's say you start off with Reinoheart. Just we'll do that instead of like the mill. Let's say you start Reinoheart, and then you're from one of your 5 cards that you draw when you go first, right? So you got 35 cards left in deck. You normal summon Reinoheart. Let's say you send any of the Tearlaments. Now you got 34 cards in deck, right? 34 cards in deck. Now you summon Kitkallos. Kitkallos is gonna send 5 mas, right? And also I guess take 1 or whatever. So now you had 34. You're now down to 33, and then now 5 left, right? So you're 28, if I believe. Doing quick math. Trust me, I'm Asian. That's 28 cards left in your deck. You basically just milled. What was it? You milled almost 12 cards, right? 12 cards, essentially 12 cards. 12 cards, right? 12 cards. Am I doing quick maths? Right? You basically just milled 12. Let's do quick maths again. Sorry. You draw 5, right? Draw 5. Normal summon. Send 1 to that. So now you got 34. 34, and then this is 5. So 34 minus 5 is 29, right? 34, yeah, 29, and then the 4 cards left in your hand, so you got 25. Well, 4 cards left in your hand doesn't matter, but what matters is basically you milled almost half or a quarter of your deck, essentially, right? You're gonna hit like an Ishizu card, a Shadal card, whatever you want to play in your version, and you're just gonna pop off king. So that's why Kitkallos is so good. You mill 5 cards, that's already like 10% of your deck, right? If you're playing more than 10%, if you're playing a 40 card deck, right? You're gonna hit something because statistics, right? You play 3 of the Tearlaments will probably be limited, or Ishizu cards will probably be limited, but hey, maybe you get lucky. Yeah, you never know what happens, right? Hit something, 5 more cards, entire deck in the graveyard. Right? You never know. So Kitkallos, Searcher, Extender, mills most of all. Mills 5. That's insane. 5. Can't believe it. But anyways, here's her boss form, I guess. Kitkallos. That's another option you can go into depending on what you have milled. And because that's what's fun with Tearlaments, right? It kind of depends what you mill, but if you play like every Ishizu card, then you're gonna mill basically everything unless you're unlucky. But its effect is that Other aqua monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the following effects of the Tearlaments Kitkallos once per turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes an effect that special summons a monster, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Then send 1 Tearlament cards from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. So, kind of like Floodgate your opponent, they literally special summon anything. No senor. There you go, get rid of it. Next one is Kaleidoheart. Kaleidoheart is kind of like, you know, I won't say it's fairly hard to summon because you're obviously probably going to have a Reinoheart somehow in the graveyard. And 2 aqua monsters probably milled. But this one is essentially a shuffler if it is special summon, right? So there you go. You target 1 card your opponent controls, shuffle into the deck. Which one you gonna end on? Your end board will probably have Kitkallos sent to grave, which can then be either shuffled back to your deck to make, if you want to, recalls, but you're probably gonna end on at least a bare minimum a Perlerino, Dragostapedia, and probably a set trap if you're going first. So we'll obviously go over that in the combo section, but these are your monsters. Again, normal summon, traditional starter card, mill 3 things. If your opponent literally does anything, special summon mill cards. And then this one is your extender. Also, I guess if your initial normal summon somehow gets stopped and then mill some stuff. Reinoheart's the other one, kind of like Merrli. However, it can't technically act as polymerization itself, but you send like any Tearlaments monster from your deck to a grave, so you know you're gonna send polymerization, I guess. And yeah, extender. This one, right? Is there? It's an option. Yeah, this one should be banned. This is a boss lady. This is a boss guy. Now we'll move on to the spells. Hello. Now we return to the spells. Honestly, we'll maybe skip over a couple of these because outside of spells, probably this. And that, the rest of these 3 are complete garbage. I've literally never seen them outside of maybe pack filler. But I think it's worth mentioning so you're aware that you should not play. So, Grief is basically, you can special summon a Tearlaments monster from your deck or graveyard, then summon 1 monster you control the graveyard. So it's not really a starter card. You gotta send something you control. Already you can probably tell why it's complete garbage. The only thing that maybe is a saving grace is that you can add back a banished Tearlaments trap card. You know, I don't know. Maybe it gets Cosmic Cyclone, something happens. Maybe you get banished off Kashtira Tearlament, right? Right, that's an option. Don't play it. Heartbeats is your back removal, but it's gonna be basically irrelevant because of this existing, so don't even bother. And then, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna be playing back row when Tearlaments eventually arrive because there's just too much gas. And you have to hope that you get lucky and open all the broken, you know, floodgates somehow. So there's that. However, Scream is worth playing, of course, because it allows you to mill even more. If a monster is normal special summon, so that means your opponent counts as well, and you control a Tearlaments monster, or Visa, you're not going to do that. You can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Also, for the rest of the turn, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack. I don't know why, for free, right? And then, of course, it has a great bonus mill effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add 1 Tearlaments trap from your deck to your from your deck to your hand. Sorry, why did I say that? Weird. But you get to add you get to add one of these somehow, like another one or whatever you want, from your deck to the grave, or from deck to hand. Sorry, I keep saying that. Well, it's gonna be in a grave after you use it, but you know what I mean. Scream is great, obviously, because it allows you to mill, and then if your opponent does anything, it mills on their turn. Hopefully you hit a Tearlaments or something, and then pop off even more. So, an option. I did not know they had another field spell. So, gains attack, and then you can send stuff, right? You can send a one level 4 or lower aqua monster from your deck to giver, but you send a non-Tearlament, and you can't activate it or whatever. You're not gonna do that because it needs another thing to happen. For, like I said, you need another aqua Tearlaments monster to be sent to graveyard by card effect, and then you can send another one. It's like, what? Why? It just waste, and also doesn't have a bonus mill effect, unlike Scream. So there you go. However, the good one is Primeval Planet Perlerino. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Tearlaments monster or from your deck to your hand. Fusion monsters and Tearlaments monsters you control gain 500 attack. So essentially, it's like 1,000 life point, 1,000 attack point difference if you have Scream up, right? Also, if a Tearlament monster you control or in your graveyard is returned to the deck or extra deck, you can target one card in the field, destroy it. So how is that going to happen? Remember that your Tearlaments, they don't stay in the graveyard, they get returned to the deck or extra deck when you fusion Shokan, right? They get to the bottom like Pot of Prosperity. So that's how you get the destroy one card in the field. And remember, it says one card in the field that can also include your own Kitkallos if somehow, I don't know, it goes wrong, right? And you need to send it to the grave by card effect somehow. There's your option. Also, if you're wondering why Mystic Mind kind of dropped off besides getting banned, right there. Right? Something gets fusion, gets sent to deck or extra deck, which is I think fairly common in Tearlaments. You can pop a back row like, you know, Floodgate or something stupid like that. So why even bother playing Heartbeat? There you go. That's why. Finally, we move on to traps. Metanoise is the one you're probably gonna play as a one-off, because if you, its effect is that if you control a Tearlaments monster or a Visa Starfrost, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face down, so Book of Moon, and then send one Tearlament monster from your deck to your graveyard. So it's a Book of Moon and then also a starter, right? And also has a great mill effect where if this card is sent to your graveyard by card effect, you can target one Tearlament monster in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. So you kind of recycle as well. Book of Moon, recycle. Book of Moon, recycle. The reason why I say it isn't as good as the next one we'll talk about is because like you can kind of play around that, because I remember fusion materials, even if they're face down, they can still be used as materials. Don't ask me why. I think this is before Yu-Gi-Oh was a thing, right? I guess it makes sense, right? Because tuners and synchro monsters, you need to have the monsters face up on the field, otherwise how would you know what levels they are, right? That makes sense, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. And also Flowanderies, which I guess is kind of a meta call you could play against Tearlament, because there was some success with Flowanderies, right? If it gets Book of Moon, you can still normal summon, it's all good, right? Tribute over it, no big deal. There's that. But here's the better one. Sulliek is a continuous trap though. If you control a Tearlaments monster or Visa Starfrost, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, then send one monster you control to the graveyard. So Imperm, Veiler, whatever you want to negate effects. Keep in mind it says negate effects. It does not say until the end of this turn or anything like that, so that's permanent. And then you can send one monster you control to the graveyard. Obviously you can send, I don't know, Merrli or something that you summon off the Sprite Elf, and then since it's sent to graveyard by card effect, pop off even more, right? All these things work together. And of course the mill effect is that if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add one Tearlaments monster from your deck to your hand. So Searcher, low-key, right? And then Cryme is kind of like, the way I look at it is like Infernity Barrier, right? If your kids are old enough to remember that. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect activated while you control a Tearlaments monster, or get the activation you do, shuffle the card into the deck, then send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. So you got Tearlaments or Shizu cards, I guess, in the graveyard. And then the mill effect is that if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one of your banished Tearlament monsters, add it to your hand. So you could add back that Tearlaments Reinoheart if that somehow gets banished, right? Because of the mill effect. So you could add it back. Yeah, alright, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it gets hit with something dumb, I don't know. Maybe it gets banished somehow. There you go. Maybe you're playing against Exosister and then banish your Tearlament monster, you get it back to your hand. There you go. I don't see people play Tearlaments Cryme too often, personally, from decklists I've seen, because the usual ratio is either one of this and one of that, or two of this and one of that. You can obviously tech it in if you feel like it, because it's a counter trap, and who'll be running Solemn Judgment and all that nowadays, right? So there you go. Those are, well, actually just delete these. These are Garbo. These are the 5 spell and trap Tearlaments cards that you should be aware of. Mills if your opponent does anything. Normal special summon, mill 3 cards. This one's your Searcher, also destroys back row. This one is your Book of Moon and also your Recycle. This one is negate effect, remember it's permanent, and then also can search. And then this one is your Infernity Barrier, right? So those are the only spells and traps you should probably be aware of. The rest of it's garbage, don't bother. Alright, we'll move on to, I guess, a deck list that I think we'll explain some things in that. Yeah, we'll move on to a deck list, an example deck list, of course. We'll move on. Next one. Hey, we have returned this. Of course, I would like to put a disclaimer: complete example deck lists of some interesting cards and texts you may or may not be aware of. Yeah, is this my deck list that I'll be playing in Master Duel? Probably not. Maybe some alterations here and there, but I just wanted to give you guys a basic deck list of what it probably will look like, right? And what you should play, depending on what gets hit, what gets banned, blah blah blah. So we'll go over that in this deck list, right? And like I said before, you can play some Shaddoll cards. Which Shaddoll you should probably play? I think the best one overall is probably Beast, because it allows you to draw a card if it's sent to graveyard by card effect. And also, if this gets sent to graveyard alongside like a, you know, one of these Tearlament monsters, guess what? You make Winda right there. Now, is it gonna be great? I think we're gonna move in a format, obviously, like TCGland, where you'll probably main deck board breakers over traditional hand traps, because one hand trap is not enough to stop Tearlament. So I know TCGland near the end of ECU's Tearlament, you didn't even bother playing Winda because everybody's gonna main deck Forbidden Droplet and all that. So probably not a great idea, but hey, it's an option. The best of one format if your opponent's dumb and doesn't play outs to Winda. So there you go. Excuse me. By the way, send your replays and you'll get a free race sticker, like I always say. Please help me get rid of them. Got too many. So yeah, Shaddoll cards are always an option if you choose to go down that route. I think TCGland figured it out and said, I ain't that great, but hey, again, it's an option. We should probably talk about the Yugioh cards, which I'm sure you're very aware of. Remember, they mill your deck. Essentially, this one mills Cinco if it's sent to graveyard. This one can shuffle stuff, right? So remember, your Tearlament monsters have to be in graveyard for it to resolve by card effect or whatever. So this thing can be chained to it, shuffle it back to deck. Guess what? No summon for you, right? Yugioh is the other one that can also mill. And then Keldo, it's kind of like Medora, right? But you know, shuffle thing back into the deck or whatever. Should obviously play 12 of that. They're probably going to be limited by the time Tearlament comes out because it's too good. But even at 1, I still think it's probably worth playing because, hey, you mill it, a single more, you probably have more advantage than your opponent, right? There you go. Another option you can play, of course, is Diviner. I know Tom Box and his Tearlaments deck profile did play it. This allows you to go into Barone and other synchro plays if you choose to go down a route. Because remember, all the other Ishizus are fairies. Diviner can send a fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard deck, obviously, and then increase its level by 4. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And remember, that's a tuner. Any of these 4s summons makes Barone under a Sprite Elf and probably Abyss Dweller. It's almost impossible for you to out, and you're probably gonna lose. So that's also an option. You can play a 1-of Herald of Orange Light, of course, to negate. And also, since it's technically a card effect, you can still get mills off it if you negate something. There's that. Instant Fusion, of course, so you can special summon your Kitkallos and then pop off from there. There you go. You should probably not play the, let me see, Gravekeepers. I don't know why these Shizu cards are specifically called like Gravekeeper's Trap. There you go. You should probably not play this alongside the Spirit of whatever it's called. Exchange of Spirit, sorry, I don't remember my animes. Probably not play exchange these two cards in particular, even though it looks kind of broken. It's because, you know, it's kind of a brick, right? If you mill them, cool. If you don't, if you draw them, you know what I mean? Your deck already has so much gas that it's not worth playing these in order to sacrifice some consistency, in my opinion, right? In my opinion. So you don't really need to play these two. That's why most TCG people don't play them at all. I know OCG Land, you know, they're weird because Maxi exists, or I should say Master Duel, which is probably the intended target of this video. It's an option, right? It's absolutely an option. So I don't think you need to, but hey, again, you do you, gang. You do you. You're just gonna be playing Tearlaments Merrli all day, and I hope you get good with your mills. So there you go. Those are some brief tech choices you can play. Of course, you can also choose to play, I don't know, the branded engine. That's also another one I've seen laying around with branded high spirits. So branded high spirits can basically act as a searcher to send, I don't know, search or whatever, or send, right? Yeah, add something, add this. But then if you go that, you can draw a card, right? Consistency, so on. I know the German guy, but I should know his name. I'm so sad. Oh no, I'm exposed as a fraud. I don't remember his name. Editor Kevin, you're gonna put in his name right here, and then you're gonna be like, yeah, it was that guy, you idiot. I'm pretty sure he was the one who popularized this. Yeah, just type in German Yu-Gi-Oh player, and he's probably gonna be the first one. Player. He's gonna be the first one. He's really cool. I'm so sad that I forgot his name. Fudge. Just edit it in. Editor Kevin, edit it in. It's gonna be this guy, and you're like, oh my god, it's that guy, Kevin. How can you forget him, you fraud? Oh man. Yeah, but anyways, that's popularized because you can special summon it, make rank for it, plays, right, and then you make Dweller or Baguska or Time Thief Reviewer on your end board, and then if you have a Bith Dweller, that basically means GG to your opponent if you have a sprite off protecting it, essentially, right? And your only outs are like Lava Golem and stuff like that to get rid of it, but then, you know, that's an option. That's why Lava Golem is going to be popular. So there you go. You could play branded, right? If you choose to add it as, like, I guess more extenders and draws and stuff like that. It's absolutely an option. So there you go. Excuse me. Now we're gonna go into a very, very, very basic combo tutorial, right? We'll do that right now. But hey, here is an actual deck list that I'll probably be using depending on what gets banned. Obviously add in 3 Maxi and then you're good, or don't even play Maxi or Dank Ruler or whatever you choose to play as tech options. But this is my deck list for when it eventually hits Master Duel. For now, obviously things might change, you know. I don't know about Diviner. Diviner's alright because you get Baron's Omni Negate, right? Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not to you. So sacrifice a little bit of, I guess, consistency to make a more broken board, which is probably something about Yu-Gi-Oh today, right? Because I don't know, when I play combo, I feel like you might as well go all gas, right? Go all gas than building like a kind of mid board, and like you don't have hand traps and stuff to protect you. So anyways, 3 Scheiren, of course, 3 Reine, 3 of each the Shizu cards, so that's 12 right there. 3 Havnis, 3 Merrli, 3 Diviner the Herald, 1 Herald Orange Light, right? You got it, you got it. 1 Instant Fusion, double, triple tax talent, 1 Terraforming, 3 Scream. It's probably maybe too much, you can probably cut it down to 2, but hey, you're gonna guarantee to add a trap. That's more disruption for you, right? 3 Field Spell, 1 of each trap. This can probably be bumped up to 2, right? Because it can search monsters, so whatever you're missing, search it. But this deck's gonna be like ridiculously consistent, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, and then extra deck, right? Up to you. I play 1 Reinoheart, 1 Dragostea, 1 Garura. I don't know when that's gonna come out yet. I don't think it's in Master Duel yet, but soon. Double Kitkallos. It's probably gonna get banned. 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Baron, 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus. I believe that's a 1 in Master Duel, so let's play 1 of it. 1 Beatrice. Sometimes rank 6 shenanigans come up, right? You make this. That's level 6. You make a Diviner, right? Send a Shizu. Rank up to this. This can send any of your Tearlaments, start popping off king. 1 Time Thief Reviewer, Disruption, etc. Right? 1 Baguska in case you get Max Eat. 1 Abyss Dweller, so that means your opponent can't play the game because everybody be playing Tearlaments probably. 1 Dark, 1 Sprite Elf to protect you. This card should be banned. I hate it. And then a Sprite Spine. Somehow, let's say you just completely brick hardcore. It's just an option for you to send at level 2 for sure. So you send Merrli, or I guess if you somehow want to send Diviner, and then I don't know, you make Sprite Elf somehow, blah blah blah. Even this can't be used in Link Material. You know, so many options. All right, we'll show some test hands using this deck list in particular. So follow along. Hey, we're back. This time I'll show you the most basic combo just with Reinoheart and what you can potentially do. Keep in mind, depends on your situation, right? It's not like the other meta decks where you just basically end on the same thing over and over. Well, you kind of do here, but again, it depends on your situation, what you're dueling against. You're not gonna end on like, you know, carrot sprite, like, you know, sprite carrot, sprite red, mirror jade, you know, it's like very linear, if you will. But Tearlaments depends on what you mill, but for this example, just normal summon Reinoheart, see what happens. So we're normal summon Reinoheart effect. Remember, you can basically send whatever Tearlaments monster you want to the graveyard. Which one should you send? Personally, I either send a Havnis or a Scheiren. Why? Because these two, unlike Merrli, you can search her with, you know, Kitkallos later, which would then mill more cards for you to pop off. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll search for Havnis, or send Havnis. Havnis effect, it's gonna fusion Shokan with Lady. So I don't think it matters the order, right? I don't think it's ever come up. Here you go. Now you have two options, right? You can search for Trap, which will set up your plays, and again, you have 4 other cards in your hand, right? So that's one option. You'll guarantee disruption for the most part. Which one should you search? Again, depends your situation. Metanoise is probably the more safer one, because then it'll guarantee that you can send a Tearlaments monster from graveyard to deck, and then once you send this to grave, it'll mill some cards, blah blah blah, right? And then you can set up Predaplan, Dragostopedia if you choose. Sulliek is more of a higher ceiling kind of, right? Because then you can add a Tearlaments monster, and also sometimes effect negation is more impactful than say like the Book of Moon for decks like, you know, Floanderies, right? They kind of don't care about Book of Moon, so you might want to search that instead. So again, depends on what you want to. All right, so we'll search for Metanoise, right? We'll add it to our hand. Nope. Set that, and then that's basically it. That's your most basic ass combo you can do. Now let's see what happens if we do the other thing, right? So let's do the other alternative, which is add a monster instead, so you can extend. But now you can do that. We'll do the same thing, have this effect. Do fusion Shokan into Lady. There you go. Doesn't matter really the order, I think, at all. Now you're gonna be able to search. Let's go search for, where are you? Merrli. Add it to hand, right? Then we do this. We'll do that. So we can special summon Merrli. And now you can chain and send basically like 8 cards from your deck. It's pretty nuts, right? So you want to do chain link 1 Kitkallos, chain link 2 Merrli, of course, just 3, 5, right? And it looks like we popped off some cards. I mean, it doesn't shuffle, but you know what I mean. So you can send like 50,000 more cards. You can also trigger good old Scheiren if you want, right? No. So now you can make your Predaplan Dragostopedia if you choose, right? So I don't think the order matters at all. Which zone should you put it in? Well, depending on what happens with Sprite Elf, right? But obviously this thing isn't shuffled, so it won't be like you're gonna have like 50 of the same cards. You know what I mean? So obviously you'll probably end up with Sprite Elf or something like that, with maybe another interaction with your opponent. If you can make obviously Abyss Dweller, you probably should do that. But yeah. So that's what you can do with a single Tearlaments Reinoheart. Remember, you have 4 other cards in your hand, and you basically just mill at least, you know, 13 cards, or 8, right? Because 5 from the Kitkallos, the rest mass for the Merrli. So there you go. You mill 8 cards out of your 40 card deck. That's basically a fifth of your deck is in the grave, and you're bound to hit something like this. All right. So now we'll do a test hand, so you can see what you can possibly do. Hey, we return. Now we'll do some test hands, huh? We'll see what we got. So let's go searchy with fusion spell or field spell. Which one do you search? Well, we already have the other two. Might as well search for Merrli, right? Let's go activate fields. Continuous spell. Why not? What do you do? Well, we do this. We can probably immediately start popping off, and then maybe we get lucky. But let's do tried and true normal summon Reinoheart, huh? Let's do normal summon Reinoheart. We'll do chain link 1 this, and then we'll do chain link 2 this, right? But I think search is more important. So which one do we send to graveyard? The only thing I hate about this is like you can't click to check your graveyard, because I'm pretty sure we sent a Kelbeck, right? Kelbeck? It looked like we sent a Kelbeck, so we'll send let's send Havnis. So now we can trigger some effects. Let's do, oh my god, we chilled that too. So now we don't even need to search for trap. So let's do chain link. Chain link 1, you should be last, or first, I guess technically. Then we'll do you next, so we can protect, and then you last. There you go. So now we can go into Lady by Graveyard and Monster Zone, or we could do a hand. Another option is that, of course. We could send another Havnis, because why not? That's probably a good idea. We'll do that. We might want to make a Abyss Dweller or something, depending on what you play against. Which is obviously going to be, you know, tier mirrors all day, fam. So let's search for Metanoise. Let's mill like 5 cards. Oh my god, did we mill more? Yes, we did. Okay, well, let's do chain link 1 this, and then let's do chain link 2 that. Because maybe we mill something bad, right? Who knows? We're probably not, but no, we're not. But now we can actually search other trap too. Might as well. Sure, we'll add it to our hand. I mill 50,000 more cards. Let's see. Got Scheiren. Let's do Garura, because we want to send this to Grave, so we mill like 50 more cards. But of course, maybe sometimes you don't want to mill 50,000 cards into your deck, right? You got enough gas. So let's do this. Right, we'll draw another card. Why not? No, thank you. Let's go activate this. This is gonna be sent to Graveyard anyway, so it doesn't matter. Because we're gonna go into probably Sprite Elf. Now we can special summon Merrli, mill more, mill 80 cards. There we go. No, thank you. Mill, 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 mill. Let's see what we get. We got Reinoheart. Yeah, we can. We'll do that. Why not? And then we'll also activate Merrli, so we can make Predaplant Dragosopedia. And now we can make Predaplant Dragosopedia for sure by using this. Graveyard, doesn't matter, I think the order. We'll do that. That's gonna special summon. We will send Scheiren, sure. And now we can go into, say, Bagul, this one. Right here. So now your opponent can't play the game. Now we can go into, say, Sprite Elf. Well, here you go. That's going to Graveyard. We get to draw a card for free. There we go. We got a bunch of stuff in the Graveyard. Let's go special summon. Well, we already normal summon, then you can obviously absolutely extend. But we'll do Merrli. So now both our traps are basically live, depending on which one you want. Right? So now we set this, set that. There you go. There you go. But hey, I don't even think this is the best you could have done. I think I was just randomly clicking buttons most of the time, right? You play other certain cards, maybe you get lucky with your mills. Yeah, you absolutely probably could have ended maybe on an additional Baron as well. Yeah, so there you go. That's one example of what you can do. That's why Tearlaments is fun, right? That's why Tearlaments is fun. You truly don't know what's gonna happen. truly do not know what's gonna happen. So, I mean, the other option we could do is your opponent's turn. We absolutely special summon the Lady. Where are you? Diviner. We milled a Diviner, so Diviner special summon, you can mill another Ishizu card. That's probably gonna hit something, and then you can pop off even more. So there you go. Yeah, you wanna do another one? Let's do another one. Hey, we return. Let's do this. Let's activate. Let's go searchy worchy. Now you do have Medora in the grave, though, or in hand, so you can probably send one of these. So why not? We'll do that. We'll mill 50,000 cards again. Remember, it's a level 4, so Abyss Dweller shenanigan. You probably always want to end on Abyss Dweller somehow, right? Oh, we milled some stuff. We don't want to activate you yet because we don't want to pitch any one of these. We probably don't want to pitch trap. We'll absolutely mill Chain Link 1, and then we'll do Fusion Shokan. Now we can make lady. So we already used Havnis effect, remember that. So now she can search. Nope, nope, nope. Oh wait. Oops, I think I milled stuff and I didn't click. Anyway, that's fine, whatever. We're gonna search for Merrli. We'll do the extending Andy. Okay, my excuse is sometimes you don't wanna we milled the trap. Well. But sometimes, hey, you don't wanna mill more cards than you don't need to, right? So we'll activate that, why not? Let's see, sure, we'll add. Well, Scheiren can technically pop off even more by sending a monster to grave, so it looks like we'll probably do that, huh? Yeah, we'll do that. I think we'll hit another Reinoheart somehow. We'll do that. Let's check. Well, we already have one in grave, so that means we can probably end on Baron somehow. But let's go special Shokan some more, huh? We'll do that. No, thank you. Now we can go into Merrli. Merrli is gonna send 50,000 cards from your deck to the grave again, alongside Kitkallos, of course. There we go. Click, 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 click buttons. Just click buttons, honestly. That's how good Tearlaments is. You just click buttons and then things will probably work out. Not gonna lie. So now you can go Dragospedia as your first negate, if you will. Right? So let's say we put it in this zone. Right? Now you can go into, let's say we go to Sprite. There. Let's say we activate. Let's special summon. Let's do it. No. Now we can send, and it's usually we haven't sent yet, which I'm pretty sure we haven't sent. Have we hit all of them? I think we have. Let's see. Yeah, I think we hit all of them except for that one, right, Keldo? Now we can activate. Either one. Well, it doesn't matter at this point. So let's special summon that. That's level 4. We pitch that. Do we mill anything else? No. Okay, now we can go Baron. Right here. Set that. And that's the other option you could have gone. Alright. Again, it's fun because you don't, like, even I don't think I'm doing this, like, super duper optimally, right? I mean, 5 years of Striker versus, like, you know, how long has Tearlaments been out? Like a month, a year, 6 months, right? I don't even think I'm that good at Tearlaments. But anyways, there's so many options. I mean, what do you got to do? You got, like, negate, another negate. You can't target this at all. So this negate is going to guarantee to go off. And you have basically a imperm that you will be live when you special summon your Merrli. Your Merrli is gonna start milling more cards too, so then you're gonna pop even further and probably kill your opponent. Isn't that fun? I love Tearlaments. All right, yeah, please look forward to the more in-depth, I guess, edited version, but this is just a taste of Tearlaments to come. Of course, build's gonna change. Master Duel, obviously this build does not have Maxi in it, so depending on what gets banned, we'll make some adjustments and all that stuff like that. So anyways, thank you for watching. See you around, gang. This is my outro song for free YouTube monies. Give me some likes and support me, please.